if you play a little game of Simon Says.
Let's do it.
Simon Says, touch your nose. Okay, Simon Says, he's got a nice thick cock, doesn't he? Oh yeah, Simon is a filthy dirty bitch. A filthy bitch with a beautiful cock. Simon Says, stare directly at his cock. Simon Says it's biblical in scale.
It's beauty.
Simon Says it's like a swan, covered in sweat and veins.
G'day, Simon Says here. Simon Says, have a good laugh and listen to this.
Jihad.
Come and play, everything's A-OK. Friendly neighbors there, that's where we meet. Can you tell me how to get to
Jihad.
How to get to
Jihad.
How to get to
Jihad.
Hello and welcome to Jihad Street, where we find all our friends on one street. And I hope all you little Muzi kids are being happy little jihadists. Now we're going to meet somebody very famous, and his name is that I'm not going to give away, but I can tell you one colour he is. He is blue with big googly eyes. So let's go and meet our guest today. Why look it's Pussy Monster.
Yum 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 yum. I love pussies. Num 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 num.
So Pussy Monster, tell me, how did you get your 72 young virgin girls?
Well, I got 72 pussies for joining Jihad. Num 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 num. 'Cause I love pussies.
So Pussy Monster, can I sit here and watch you eat your 72 pussies?
Yes, I don't mind you watching. Here I go. Nom 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 nom. I love pussy. Nom 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 nom. That's one pussy. Another one. Nom 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 nom. Nom nom nom. That's two pussies. I love pussy 'cause I'm Pussy Monster. No 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 no.
Pussy Monster, you're getting very violent there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I love pussies.
Well, there you go. There is Pussy Monster today, little kids. So if you want to be like Pussy Monster, then you have to join Jihad and be good little Muzzy kids. Be good because Allah knows all and He is watching you. Because Allah is all wise. Jihad Street will be back next week, and next on the program is Simon Says Weekly or Whenever News Review.
On my way to where the air is sweet. Can you tell me how to get to
Jihad.
Come and play, everything's A-OK. Friendly neighbors there, that's where we meet. Can you tell me how to get to
Jihad.
how to get to
Jihad.
Today, Simon Says Weekly News Review. Gus Comer causes an outrage and then fucks off and leaves everything in a shambles. More on that and many more on Simon's Weekly or Whenever News Review. Here's your host, Simon, and his co-host.
Yeah, g'day. Simon Says here, and welcome to the first episode of Simon's Weekly or Whenever News in... You try saying that real quick.
Oi! Oi!
And, the first episode, and, alright, you can hear him in the background. This is my new co-host, and would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Bazza, and this is the first time I've been on this shit, and I'm Simon's other half.
Whoa, what do you mean by other half?
Well, what I bloody mean is you're my bloody partner.
No, you are my co-host, because what you got to remember is partner now can mean a number of things.
What do you bloody mean by that?
Well, back in the days when a man and a woman gets married, they call themselves husband and wife. And now we've got a situation where the gays want to get married, and before they can get married, they can't say that they're husband and wife or husband and husband, so they say, this is my partner.
So what you bloody saying, mate, is if a bloke walked up to you and says my partner's doing the shopping, you're going to assume he's gay, is that right?
Well, yeah, because I'm used to people saying, oh, this is my wife or this is my husband. That's the way it used to be. But these days, this is my partner. And these days I get a bit confused. I sit there and I look at him and I say, are you gay or you straight?
Yeah, if I had a wife and my wife said I was a partner, I'd give her a fucking backhander and say, hey, I'm your bloody husband. Yeah, I suppose that can get a bit confusing at times. Anyway, what's going on with this bloody news that you started?
Well, as people are aware, I've started up a group page called Simon Says, which is connected to my podcast, which is Simon Says. And since it's going good, I thought I'd stick with it and, just post a lot of shit that pops into my head that I think of.
Hey, since I'm your other half, you're not getting all the fucking credit for this shit, mate. I thought of some shit too, come on.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Anyway, let's get stuck into it. It's been a week since this page has started, and now I've got to fucking scroll all the way to the fucking bottom.
Yeah, Simon Says he's not very organised, is he?
Now, shut up, you fucking dick.
Ooh, bit of name calling, I love it.
Now, the first post I posted was Mr. Bean. And as my hardcore followers are aware, is that I'm talking about Islam a lot, and how they say Islam is the religion of peace. But as we're aware, and what we see on the media, and what we see on Facebook, and what we see on YouTube and shit like that, Islam is not a very nice religion at the moment, and it's been promoted by ISIS, which love to torture and, do horrendous torture and, not beyond evil, the way I see it. That's beyond evil, because I don't think even the devil would do that shit. So, yeah, I did a skit called Mr. Bean and the Suicide Vest over a year ago. Fuck, that's a while ago.
Yeah, I did find that episode piss funny. Oh, that was a cracker of an episode, that one, eh?
So I thought, because it was such a good episode, that there's going to be another Adventures of Mr. Bean. So, yeah, look out for that one. It's in the making. So we'll continue on with that. And then the next post was, I posted Destination Islam. And that's sort of an opening for the new Mr. Bean Adventures. And one of my hardcore fans is Ben Begley, and he put up a post on the 6th of August.
Hey, Ben Begley, what do you fucking find funny about his show, eh? Oh, fuck, you must be desperate for the entertainment, you bastard.
Well, maybe Ben Begley's got a fucked up sense of humour like me. That's why he likes it. Anyway, Ben says, Simon, I'm never quite sure where to leave a comment. On this page or Simon Wright's page, or the Simon Gabriel page. This seems like the best though. Thanks for adding me to your group. Regarding the latest episode of Moses and the Burning Bush, I hope poor Moses gets it right someday, before that sinister voice plan comes into fruition. I can't pronounce that word properly.
Yeah, you bloody lazy fuck. Go to speech therapy, you poofter.
Hey, Bazza, fucking hell, mate. Then there wouldn't be much of a story arc, would there? Funny stuff, buddy.
Yeah, what's bloody Moses' problem? He can't even fucking bloody give some information out correctly. He's always fucking it up. And what's the bloody go with Pharaoh? He's bloody queer as all fuck. Oh, jeez. Can't get any queerer than Pharaoh.
Hey, Bazza, don't judge. We're all human beings. It's only religion that says it's wrong to be gay, where nature says otherwise.
Yeah, I can't understand why those faggots can't be bloody happy.
Baz, be careful with the words you choose, because you might offend people out there by using those particular words.
What? It's just a fucking word. It's how you use that word is how you determine that word is used. I just used it as a word. Anyway, you don't give a fuck about political correctness, do ya?
Yeah, you're right, Baz. I hate political correctness. I just love to say the way it is, and, you know, if you're going to hurt somebody's feeling, well, so be it. Maybe the raw truth hurts. Anyway, thanks for that comment, Ben Begley. I'm glad you enjoy the Moses and the Burning Bush episodes.
Yeah, he's fucking funny, isn't he? Not. Yeah, I wonder if Moses is gonna shove his cock up, Pharaoh's ass.
Well, I think Pharaoh is dropping a few hints, so wonder if Moses will take the bait.
And Shane Tobin comes up with a comment saying, Simon says, where are the ski goggles? I need to get naked. Shane and Simon, what's going on with these ski goggles? You know, you keep mentioning it, but we know nothing about it.
Oh, those ski goggles are going to be haunting me for the rest of my life. Anyway, to give you a little hint, there were ski goggles and alcohol and a woman involved. That's all I'm saying until Shane gives me permission to tell the story.
Come on, Shane Tobin. I dare you to let Simon tell you that story. It must be a fucking pearler.
Well, if he does, I will tell the story. And until then, we'll let you use your imagination. I hope I haven't given too much away. And now the next post is by my favourite podcast of all time, and it's done by Adam Koshi. But from now on, I'm always going to name him as Adam K, because that's how I first met him. And honestly, I don't know how I got onto you. It's been so long. I'm not sure if it was through Robert Darby, but I'm glad I found you, because I love your fucking shit, mate, because you come up with some awesome skits. Anyway, he comes up with a post saying, Simon says, fuck that Israel shitbag that stabbed that poor girl. Adam says, I agree, fuck that cunt in the ear. Now, I don't know what happened there, so maybe Adam K can tell him the story on his podcast and, get him on, get you over on his podcast. And Simon Wright, which is me, comes with a comment. Simon says, oh, fuck his throat, at least you will hear him gag.
Yeah, you wouldn't even give that a fucking second thought, would you, Simon? And you would ram your cock right in his throat, wouldn't you?
Hell yeah. He demoralised and killed a bloody child. Fucking oath I'd put my fucking cock in and make him swallow my cum.
So does that mean you're a bloody poofter?
No, it's called demoralising.
Now this next post is by you, but I would have to say this is my number one post, if I had to choose. And Simon says, if you had to pick a cunt or an arsehole to spend eternity with, who would you choose to be with and why? Because you can shut a cunt up, where an arsehole always talks shit. Like Simon.
Hey, Bazza, practice what you preach, mate.
Hey, I'm not preaching anything. You're the one that posted it.
Yeah, but you're the one that thought it.
Yeah, well, it mustn't have been any good because only 2 people liked it. Ben Begley, I don't understand him. Why does he listen to your show? And Janine Hall. And the reason why I'm using their full names is because they're on the page, and whoever finds this page, you're going to find out who they are anyway.
Hey, Baz! What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, that's fucking awesome shit. I'm just having a fucking comb. What's wrong with that?
You know it's a fucking against the law, and you're fucking doing it on this show.
Ah, but that's the thing. Do they know it's the real thing? Or is it just me making sound effects? You will never ever know.
Bazza, there's some stupid cunts out there, and they'll probably take it legit. I hope my workmates aren't listening to this. They'll probably go to the boss and say,
Give him a drug test! Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. I didn't really think of that, but no, it's just fucking sound effects. You will never know.
oh, fucking hell, Baz, shut up. No, I don't take drugs. It's just sound effects.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh, fucking hell, Baz, let's move on before we get in trouble.
Yeah, I wonder on that last post why nobody made a comment. Who would you like to spend eternity with? I'll tell you what, it definitely wouldn't be God.
And the next post I put up is, Simon says, Australian cricket team are playing like a bunch of paraplegics.
Why'd you bloody say that?
Well, I go for a footy team called Parramatta, and they haven't won a premiership since 1986. So it's nearly been 30 years since I seen the premiership of Parramatta. I don't call them Parramatta anymore. I call them the paraplegics because they can't play for shit.
Anyway, tell me why is it upsetting that Australia lost? You know, I'm glad England won because then it makes it a competition. I hate it because, you know, I love watching the Super V8 cars, and I tell you what, I am so sick of bloody Whincup, you know, winning the championship all the time. Don't get me wrong, yeah, he's a bloody good driver, but fuck, it gets boring watching the V8s, watching one person win all the time. I like to watch a bit of competition, but you know what? If Whincup's winning all the time, that just means he's a fucking good driver. So, you know, whoever wins, good on him.
You know what, Baz? You're fucking right. You're fucking dead right there. What's wrong with a bit of competition? And then I put up another post, and it says, Simon says, better late than never, but happy anniversary to I rest my case.
Yeah, it was bloody 8 days late.
Now, I'd been podcasting for 2 years on that day, and there was 2 likes, which was Adam K and Ben Begley, my true hardcore fans, and Adam comes with a comment saying, happy birthday to you. Now, if I'm getting that correctly, and I know Adam K, hopefully I get this right, but I love, what's her name? Marilyn Monroe. When you put that there, I was pretending you were Marilyn Monroe singing it to me. Thanks, mate. The only birthday present I got. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, and the next post is by Simon again. You're a fucking slut post, mate.
Hey, you're the one giving me all the work, remember?
Ah, don't blame me. Simon says, why did the Bible go through all the begats to get to Joseph in Jesus' lineage, when Joseph wasn't even the father? Shouldn't have it said, God begat God to become Jesus?
Yeah, very good point, Bazza. There was one like to this one. It was Stephen Warren. Thanks, mate. And Ben Begley comes up with a comment saying, they were shoehorning him into the lineage of King David via Joseph in order to jive with the prophecy. And Gus Comer should be chiming in 3, 2, 1.
Ah, but it looks like Gus didn't chime in, did he? It was Simon that chimed in next. And Simon says, I dare Ben Begley to invite Mr. Gus Comer to join the Game Simon Says page. Will you accept that there? And then Ben Begley comes on with, challenge accepted. Oh, this is going to get interesting.
Yeah, and then Adam K comes in with, a
you sure that's wise?
Yeah, and Ben Begley comes with a comment saying, probably not, but guess what? I think it's fucking too late. No, I just put that bit in.
And now Mr. Gus Coma comes in.
Sorry, fellas. Been busy today, but not into visiting Simon Says.
Hey, but wait a minute. If he says he's not gonna visit Simon Says at the moment, then he already has by making that fucking comment. Hey, Gus Coma, come on, mate. You know, you fucked up.
As to the Bible lineage, you noted there are two, but both came down from David. One to Mary, the supposed father, and the other to Mary.
What the fuck, Gus? What are you carrying on about? Be more specific in what you're fucking saying. Yes, we know David is the descendant of Joseph, but we're talking about lineage of Jesus. How Jesus came into the fucking earth. It wasn't through fucking Joseph or David. It was through fucking God, Gus. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I read the Bible once. I stopped reading it when God cursed Adam and Eve for eating that apple that he said that they could eat in the first law, and then turns around and says, you can't eat the apple in the middle of the tree, but he already passed a law saying that, they can eat all the fruits of the garden. So God fucked up, and for Adam to follow God's law, Simon has said this, but I'm going to repeat it, just like the Bible. For Adam to follow God's law, that would have been a good thing. But as we know, Adam hadn't eaten from the tree, so why would God do that in the first place? Because we've got to be good to follow God's law, so if we don't know what good is, then we're not going to know how to follow the law, if you get what I mean. I'm starting to sound like the fucking Bible, aren't I?
Yeah, Baz, I think you're talking a bit of shit there. Then I get back on saying, Simon Says, Gus Coma, thanks for the reply, mate. Maybe you will join one day.
Now, I like this next post. It says, Simon Says, this is one of the best comments today. Well done, Reese McLeod. And it says, contradiction is God's best game. What a fucking comment that is. And how fucking true is that? Because his Bible's full of contradictions. So, you know what? I'm so fucking jealous of you, Reese. I am so jealous. I didn't even think of that one. Oh, that's a great comment. And when Simon becomes jealous of a comment, that means it's fucking good.
Yeah, a bit. But it just goes to show there's also smarter people out there too that use their brains.
Can I read this next post, because I've got something to say about this one?
Yeah, alright, Baz. Flog it like you flog your cock.
Simon, if you only knew what I did with my cock. Shane Tobin says, Simon Says, isn't it funny that people get used as a babysitting service for their own children until child support agency gets involved, and then it becomes financially better to pay a child care than to let the children see their own father. And the reason why I wanted to do this post is because when I grew up, when I was a little whippersnapper, family was everything. It wasn't perfect, but you worked at it. But then when feminism came in, that's when fucking shit hit the fan. What's all this bloody business from women wanting to be like men? Women are women. Women are supposed to be women because you are fucking women. Let men be men. What you really don't know, you don't really want what women men have because it ain't pretty. Just stick to being a fucking woman. And when the whole system fell apart, back in the days when, there was no such thing as child support, no such thing as single parent pension. If you divorced, you had to get a job and you actually had to work to support your family. But these days, It's too fucking easy. All the government, the government gives you money. Then the feminists jump in. We want maternity leave, so so these people can look up. I can understand that, but why should the bloody, the company should be paying for people to have babies? I don't agree with that because that's not their responsibility to look after people's bloody kids. I can understand the government pay for it, but it just seems like feminism has just abused the system. It is, if you don't love your husbands, just go out there and you can be financially supported. The government's going to pay for you, and to top things off, we will take the men's salary and to pay for the children. The money you're going to miss out, even though that we're going to pay you say $2,000 a fortnight, depending on how many kids you have. That's nearly $4 fucking grand a fortnight. Or, I really don't know how it works, but just on what I see in the system, that's the way it works. And if women want equal rights to men, well, I'll hand it to them on a silver platter. If you want what men have, then you cop what men have. So if a man walks out on you and takes the fucking kids and says, you've got I don't want you in my life, then you accept it. Don't go running and saying, I'm a woman, I love my kids more than the father because the father's never in their lives. The fathers are fucking working assholes. He's working his ass off. I'm not saying all men are fucking perfect, but, there's a majority out there that are good men. But these new generation men that are grown up without fathers even don't know how to be men because they're taught by their fucking mothers.
Yeah, but Baz, we're talking about equality. If you do the same job as a bloke, you should get paid the same.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that. If a woman does a job, but, as a bloke, she shouldn't be paid the same because it's the same fucking job. But, equality, it's not about equality. It's about what women want. That's all it is. And I know people are going to look at me as a chauvinistic pig, but you know what? I don't care about political correctness. Anyway, enough of my rant. On with the next post. Look out, we just got some news feed just right about now. It's 17 past the hour of 5 o'clock, and Adam has just put a post up there saying, Simon says, ads back, motherfuckers. Oh, good on you, Ad. I'm glad you're on this post because you make me fucking laugh.
Okay, the next post is, Simon says, when God made us in his likeness and his image...
I want to say the rest.
No, just wait up. Simon says,
fuck it, I'm going to jump in anyway. Simon says, so does that say that God is get ready for it, a mentally disabled, spastic, psychopathical retard? Simon says, what do you think? And obviously nobody thought nothing because there's no comment, but on the brighter side of life is that 15 people seen it.
Well, at least they're looking at it. On this next post is by me again. It seems like I'm doing all the posting, but feel free to make a post whenever you want, which is starting to happen now in a week. It's still in its infancies. I'm still, trying to raise it right and bring it up right and make you laugh. Anyway, this next post I put up, I say a lot, especially at work as I look after old people and... when I tuck them in at night and, make them nice and comfortable and, change all their pads and wipe their asses, make sure they're nice and clean, I always say this to them. Simon says, good night. When you wake up and read this, I am sleeping. Simon says,
good night. And Simon says, be good. If you can't be good, then be good at it. Oh, that's a good saying, that. Because the way I see it, if you're going to be fucking in trouble, when you die, you're going to hell, so it doesn't really matter. So you might as well have fucking fun doing it. Be good at doing what you do best. That's what I say.
You're right on the money there, Baz.
Now, here's another post that Simon put up, and it says, Simon doesn't give a fuck about political correctness, as we already know. Simon says, Don't beat around the bush. Just be honest and say what's really on your mind. Because Simon says the raw truth always hurts. And then Thomas Tyden comes on and says, German sausages are the worst. And he spelled it, the sausages, the way they spell sausages, as in worst. Very clever, Thomas. And he also says, now I'm glad I got that off my chest.
And I come with a comment saying, Simon says, try an Aussie sausage. Simon says, it's great to get shit off your chest, like religion. If you don't wipe it away, it sticks like shit.
Ah, Simon, you definitely have a bloody problem with religion, don't ya?
Yeah, I have a huge fucking problem with religion.
Oh, have you ever, can I tell that story that, about the devil and deceiving us with that shit?
No, not really, because I've already said it, and I'm sure they don't want to see it, hear it again.
Yeah, but what about those other people that haven't heard it yet?
I'm sure they've heard it.
Alright then, motherfucker, let's just move on. Fuck you.
Now, we're getting end of the first day here, so I've done a bit about a whack because the page is all thrown around, so I've noticed when somebody looks at a page, it goes straight to the top, so it gets thrown around. But anyway, we know where we're going. The next one I put up, it says, Simon says, if God blessed me with a sick, fucked up sense of humour, would it be a sin not to use it? As God is a big... Well, I was supposed to put God, so we know where we're going. As God is a big part of my shit, what do you think? And we got some replies. We were seen by 20 people, and we got 5 replies. So let's check out the replies. I've forgotten. Alright, and the first comment is by Adam K. It'd be almost blasphemous if you didn't. Who are you to deny the gifts you are given? So fucking true, why deny us what supposedly God has given us? Now this next man has caused some controversy by challenging certain people's intelligence. Now, I don't give a fuck what this bloke says about me, but when he starts attacking my friends, and he knows nothing about them, where he knows what I'm like, well then, gloves are off. I'm being serious right now, gloves are off. Now, this next comment is by Gus Coma. I've been following this bloke for, I think about 3 years now. And he puts up,
I doubt if anything sick should be called a gift from God. Your life, but it was unshapen at the beginning. It is now what you and life circumstances have made it.
Hey, wait a minute. He said, this Gus Coma, mate, he says, your life was unshapen at the beginning, and it is you and life circumstances have made it. Well, aren't we told that God already has mapped out our plan? We're put here for a reason, so, why would, we have to shape our lives? Because we're told God does that. And if we disobey God and we don't follow it, well then we burn in fucking hell or something like a pig on a stick. But anyway, Gus Coma, I think you're a bit of shit at the moment. I think you're talking crap. Because I can tell you one thing, I don't need a God to tell me how to live my life, and I don't need a God to tell me how to treat people. I learned that as a baby. As I've grown up, I learnt it. Okay, the next person to make a comment was Thomas Tyden. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't think he gave you a sense of humour either. Well, I hope he's talking about Gus and not me. He is too busy giving bone cancer to children, or starving children in various continents, or fighting abortions. Yeah, the thing I don't understand is, we're told that God loves his children, and, you see all these starving kids, and, you see all these people with absolutely outrageous, diseases that he created, and, I got a bloke at work that tells me, no, God didn't create that shit, we did.
So what he's saying is that we've created AIDS, we've created the cold, but didn't God create that?
Well, that Bible puncher man, he said God didn't make that shit. You even have a conversation in one day saying that, God created evil, and he turns around and he goes, no, God didn't create evil. And you said, well, why would he make a tree of knowing good and evil? And he said to you is that it was like a test. No, hang on. I think I'm getting all this wrong. I actually have to go back and think. What did he say? He said, oh, that's right. He said it was the devil that was the evil one. He tempted Adam and Eve with the apple, but my point, Simon's point, I'm sorry, he was trying to point across is that, but God made evil, so that, you can't blame us for, eating the apple because we had no knowledge of what was going to happen. It just doesn't make sense of God's plan. I think God's got a fucked up plan. I mean, in my eyes anyway. Yeah, and going back to the starving children, the way I see it, it's not God causing this problem. It's people having sex. It's that free loving, The more kids you have, you think the better it is, but, actually it's the worst. So, it's humankind that has caused this problem. I do agree with the hunger, but, if God made us in his image and his likeness, well then, shouldn't we already know what to do? Because God is all-knower. He knows past, present and future.
Well, then I guess God didn't see this one coming, did he?
And then you come back on with a comment saying, Simon says, and God's employees, priests, raping kids in-house. Simon says, give me a fucking sick sense of humour any day. Well, I have to agree with that, Simon. I'd rather have a sick sense of humour than, fuck those little kids because that's not in me yet. But for some reason, God made people like that and, and then give them pedophilia, tendencies and, they prefer to love kids and then God turns around. Well, actually, God says it's not a sin to fuck kids because it's not in one of the 10 commandments. So, yeah, I suppose God fucked up again and we're free to do what we want. Because he gave us free will, didn't he? So, well, fuck do I know.
And then I come up with another comment saying, Simon says, Gus Comer, you say our life was unshapen at the beginning, and then you say it is now what you and life have made it. Something like that. But I was told in Sunday school that God has planned my life. It's already mapped out, Gus. And I am a so-called reflection of God. And if there is a God and you are criticising then you are criticising God's creation. But I'm sure there is no Bible God. But if there is, Simon says, I will take him head on with no fear.
Yeah, this next post, it actually caused quite a controversy. It was by Gus Comer and he actually started up a fire, got his fingers burnt and then fucked off.
Sure did. And here is a message that he left.
I hereby give final notice to the Inane Atheist Society headed up by such mental giants not as Simon Wright, Ben Begley and Adam Koshi and Thomas Tyden. I will not again respond to your childish gibes and insults directed at the Supreme God of the universe. He has given me a stern rebuking for having the foolishness of trying to defend him. An ant defending a Triceratops Rex. No more, gentlemen. I suspect your childish kids will turn into shrieks of terror when on Judgment Day you are called before him. So no more. Don't waste your time and energy. Farewell. Sayonara.
Sierra, or wherever that word is. Aloha and Auf Wiedersehen. Wait a minute. I think Gus is just fucked up. Aloha doesn't say goodbye. If I can remember correctly, aloha means hello.
And after that comment Gus Comer made about us, Adam K gets on and says, Simon says, judge not. How dare that man make any judgment, let alone pertaining to somebody's mental capacity. Gus Comer, you have never met me, never spoken to me personally, and you certainly don't have any idea about my intelligence. What does your Bible say about judge not?
Then Adam K comes on again with no Simon Says, but I think he's so pissed off that he forgot. And he says, I'm sure there's a bit in the Bible that says, judge people about whom you know nothing and have never had a conversation with.
Well, I'm sure that's not in the Bible, but it runs on the same principles, I say. Nice comment, Adam. Now, this next comment is by Robert Darby, who I've been following on his podcast for 2 years. I've had an interview with him. I can understand where he's coming with this message, and listen, mate, I respect your respect to Gus. I respect you for that, but you have to understand that if he's going to make comments like that, well then, if he's going to stick his finger in fire, it's going to get burned. If he wants to play with the big boys and challenge their intelligence, well, sorry, he knows what he's doing. Just because he's old and he's an old man, and just because he served our country, doesn't give him the right to judge us with our intellect. So, Robert Darby, I can fully understand where you're coming with this, and so I hope you don't hate me for it. You know, that's just my opinion. Anyway, Robert Darby says, I leave Facebook for a few hours and my friends are at war. Gus Comer, Simon Wright and Adam Koshi. Adam, I believed, hasn't engaged with Gus and may feel a tad aggrieved. May I ask that we accord some respect to Gus? He's deserving of it. Gus served Australia, and although we may not agree with his beliefs, we should only stick to the facts of our argument. Realise in debate or arguments, it is not always about who is right, but what is right. I have a lot of fondness for Gus and have spent time in his company. I have known him to consider the facts of a well-constructed debate. People of his generation paved the way for us.
And Adam Koshi comes on with a comment. You're fucking A-right, I feel aggrieved. I've been judged by absentina, by someone who knows nothing about me, and whom I've not approached. I'm trying to accord him some respect, but respect, I'm reliably assured, is a two-way street.
Bazza, you get a bit angry there, mate.
Yeah, well, when he's insulting my friends that he knows nothing about, you know, Adam Koshi, Ben Begley and Thomas Tyden, they're fucking intelligent, man. I can tell by their fucking posts and the way they write their shit. They are intelligent, man. Where you know, Gus Comer tries to you know, explain something and it's like reading gibberish. And Robert Darby comes on with saying, perhaps we'll be able to sort it out. In a way, I don't think so, because Gus is set in concrete. His mind is set in concrete, see? You're not going to change his mind. He's not going to change our mind. So it's just like a revolving door going around in circles.
Oh, exactly. Just like Islam, you know, Islam trying to convert us to their God, but it ain't going to happen. So because we're stuck in our own ways. And Simon comes up with, and even I forgot to put in. Simon says, "If you're gonna stick your finger in fire, it's gonna get bloody burnt." And you said his generation paved the way for us. Yes, they did, and I thank them for that. But we have to pave a way for ourselves too. I thank you for letting us know how you feel, and I respect you for that. And Robert Darby comes on with, oh well, I'm trying to promote some peace. It's a big world, we're stuck in it together. I understand that, Robert, and you know, mate, I know you're trying to protect him. I know you got a friendship with him. Hey, I'm friends with him too. You know, as I said, he knows what I'm like. He knows he's not going to change my ways. And Robert Darby says, oh well, I'm just trying to promote some peace. It's a big world, we're all stuck in it together. Ain't that the bloody truth?
Hey, but don't worry, you know, in 2020, we're gonna be bloody launching a rocket up to Mars. Maybe we can start again. We'll leave all the Christians here, and, well, actually, no. If they want to find fucking God, they can go on the rocket, and they can fly to Mars, and see if they can fucking find God, and start over again, and, you know, they all can have their worshipping and shit like that. Find a planet for each fucking religion in this world.
But then you're going to get everybody saying, well, why should we go? You know, this is our planet too.
Yeah, well, fuck them. When the day comes, we'll just paper, rock, scissors it. Anyway, back to the comments. Adam Koshi comes with another one, and he says, he who assaults my character may as well slit my throat. Ancient saying, I just made that up.
And Robert Darby comes with another comment saying, he'll make amends for accidentally naming you when it's pointed out to him.
I like to pick at that one. I don't think it was a fucking accident. He knew what the fuck he was doing. And, you know, why should we have to point it out? Because he's the one that fucking made the comment. And his fingers in his brain were saying, type Simon Wright, type Adam Kay, type, you know, Ben Begley and Thomas Tegan, you know. It wasn't a mistake. He fucking did it on purpose. So please, Robert Darby, don't defend him. He made that decision, and he has to suffer the consequences.
All right, Paz, settle down, mate. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to upset Darby because he's a good bloke. I love his shows, and what do they say? Don't upset the apple cart.
Now, Adam Kay comes on with another comment saying, I'm sure he would. That isn't in the question. So what I think, Adam's saying there is that it's not the respect that's in question. It's his judgment on their intelligence. That's the question. Am I bloody right, Adam Kay? Make sure you write a comment on that actual post, so you know I can hear your comment. I can read your comment.
Yeah, come on, I need more comments, more messages. Anyway, Robert Darby comes on again with, I'm not fully aware of the whole situation, I must admit. Is there anything that will make it right? Well, Robert, you don't know the whole situation, so you don't know what went down, and I'm sure if you read the comments that were deleted before we got to read them, or before anyone got to read them, then you can't say anything, mate, because you don't know the whole situation. You've just gone on what's been said here, so on, you know, what we've reposted of what Gus Comer has said.
Anyway, why is that cunt fucking making those sort of accusations anyway? You know, who's to say he's fucking right, eh? No one. No one's right. And Robert Darby is right. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's how you live your life, I think. And, you know, in my eyes, you know, Gus Comer, you know, he can believe whatever the fuck he wants, but don't start criticising people's intelligence because he thinks he believes in a higher fucking being. And, you know, and just because I don't believe in a God, that, you know, I'm the worst person on the fucking planet. Just like with Islam, you know, I'm a non-believer and I'm nothing but a fucking infidel. And, you know, all they want to do is fucking kill me. So, when you really look at it, religion is fucking the problem.
True. And Adam K comes back with another comment saying, I'm not expecting anyone to act on my behalf. I prefer not to stick my metaphorical or in case I might make things worse. wise words, Adam.
And then Robert Darby comes back with, oh, okay. And the last comment, 5 hours later, when all this shit has gone down, Beg Begley comes with a comment saying, I too respect Gus, and I'm a little surprised he wrote us off, but apparently God told him to do so. Well, we are told. Well, Gus Comer said he was spoken to and he was rebuked. So, the thing I can't understand is why, Gus can hear his voice, but, when I was younger, I was praying, I thought there was a God, and, I wished in my heart that he came into my life as I read the Bible, and, nothing happened, so, and I even went to the point where I even got christened, so, just hopefully it worked, I become a child of God, and when I got christened, we got a sprinkle of water on the head, and then, I was told by that Bible puncher it was the wrong way. So what do you know? So I decided to go with Simon, and I said maybe I can give this a go and get dunked in the ocean. He took me to the ocean and he dunked me underwater. For a sec I thought he was going to drown me, but no, he didn't. I'm still here. Anyway, where was I going with that? Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so I tried that shit and, nothing happened. It was just a normal day, and I've never heard God, and I've never felt Jesus by my side, so I thought, you know what? It's full of shit. This religion shit is fucked up. Oh, I sound a little bit like George Carlin then.
And after all that went down, I thought that was the best post of the day, bit of controversy, and made it. And I said to Adam Koshi, congratulations for the post of the day, because it was him that got the ball rolling.
Yeah, and in the post of the day, the comments were Adam Koshi, yeah, it's Koshi. I think he'd fucking shoot me if I said Koshi. I don't think he's bald anyway. Anyway, Adam says, yay, I'm the best.
And then I come on with saying, Simon says, I love it when Gus puts Jesus' righteous foot in it.
Yeah, I notice a pattern with Gus. Every time you make a comment about God, you anyway, anytime you make a comment about God, Gus is there without fail, trying to save your life. And, that's the best thing I like about Gus is he eventually gave up, but, it says in the Bible, please don't give up. Keep trying, and you never know. One day they might turn around. I think Gus will be long gone before that happens. But anyway, Gus, I do love you, mate. I enjoyed all our conversations, and don't get me wrong. Just because I don't believe what you believe, it doesn't mean I don't take it on board. Because don't get me wrong, you do put some good shit out, but I just wish it were true. Like, if there's a God, I'm sure I'm going to meet up with Gus one day in heaven if I ever make it, but, he doesn't know me, and he only knows by my post. He, as Darby says, Darby has spent time with Gus, so, they've formed an actual, face-to-face relationship. You really can't get a face-to-face relationship on Facebook, so, if he met me in real life and, got to know me, he'd probably think we are good people. Just because we don't believe in him, we're attacking his beliefs, we just want answers.
Very well said, Baz. That's brilliant. And then the next comment comes by Corey Jensen. Gus is a sick fuck, reveling in others burning in hell. He's old enough to know better. Fuck you, Gus. Yeah, well, I can understand why Corey made that comment because, he doesn't believe either, and he's sick and tired of saying, people say you're going to burn in hell because, you don't believe in God, or you don't believe in God, or, you're doing all the sins that he fucking hates. Well, you can't condemn a man for that.
Yeah, and I can tell you why bloody Corey Jensen was so pissed off is because Gus was challenging his intellect. He don't know bloody Corey. Has he ever listened to bloody Corey's podcast, which is Podcasta Non Grata? Sorry, I take that back. Apostasy now, but no, I can guarantee he hasn't. So, Gus Comer can't make those kind of judgments. Until he meets him, then he can make those judgments. Until then, fuck off, Gus Comer. You have no right to fucking question people's intellect. Who's to say you're the smartest one? You're not. You're just older and wiser. That's the way I see it. And probably when I get to your age, Gus, if I ever make it that far, if God don't strike me down with lightning, well then, maybe I will come to my senses and realise that maybe Gus was right, but don't hold your breath, Gus, because I, for some reason, don't think that'll ever happen. But on Judgment Day, and I'm standing next to you, and you're looking at me saying, you're fucked. Well, fuck you. Nah, just kidding, Gus. Come on. I'm just gonna say, well, I fucked up. High five God. Well, I'll just repent right there and then. They say it's too late, but I want to test the limits. I want to test the boundaries to see if it actually, not repent before I die, and then repent on Judgment Day. That might work, you never know.
Alright, let's move away from that, and let's get on to the next post. This is my favourite one, but I'm not going to read it. I'm going to pass the bucket on to Baz.
Oh, thank you very much. And Simon says, going to heaven would be like a nightmare if you died as a child. Because Simon says, imagine all those pedophile priests rubbing their cocks and drooling like beasts on God's righteous side, and God says,
I hope you don't mind if I join you boys.
No, not at all. We are glad you are just one of us, who loves to hear those pelvics break and loves the feel of the rip of the anal walls and the begging to stop. Oh, how we praise and worship our God. And Simon says,
send me to hell any day.
I don't know how long this news review is going to go, but I think we should wrap it up very soon. Just read a couple of more posts and we'll call it a day. The next post was made by Simon Wright, and it was a very interesting post because Rob Branch actually asked me a question. This bloke asked a great question. Simon says, oh no, I won't read that one yet because it'll ruin the what it means. Anyway, this is from Rob Branch. He privately messaged me, and Rob, don't worry, I will not post anything that I don't think that you would want to, be released. I wouldn't do that to you, mate, but the reason why I posted this is because, it was a bloody good question, and to be honest, I pulled it out of my ass, but you liked it, so that was good. Hey Simon, love the page and look forward to contributing. I am not a Grammy nutter, but is there a clever way why Simon Says has an apostrophe in says? I only ask because being a clever, witty page, you don't wanna leave yourself open to grammar errors by people who get pissed off with the page. Well, honestly, Rob, I really don't give a fuck if I spell it wrong. Long as people know what I'm talking about, that's fine by me. If it is ironic, awesome. But I'm pretty sure that there's no apostrophe in Simon Says. Try not to be a smartass, just look it out. Cheers, Rob. Thanks, Rob. You know, it's good to see you looking out for me. Because you know what? That's what mates do. And, you know, they look out for each other. And if there's a mistake, I'm glad you pulled me up. But to be honest, I didn't know why I put apostrophe there. You know, it's just habit, I think. Anyway, I pulled this one out of my ass and I said, or Simon said, I said, you know, we all said, the reason I have the apostrophe is when you says it means plural, more than one. The reason why I put it there, because I will say more than one says. Ha ha. If that made sense. Ha ha. And he comes with a comment saying, laugh out loud, gotcha. Scarily enough, that does make sense. Ha ha. So it would be pronounced as Simon Says, and the way he's, you know, just look on the Facebook, you'll find it. And, you know, I like getting those kind of questions because, you know, maybe I have made a mistake and not realised it like that one, but, you know, I will pull something out of my ass.
Oh, would you hurry up?
Just bloody take your time. You know, I'm new to this show, they've got to get to know me, and maybe that'll be on the next one, you know. But, you know, I say you know a lot, but, you know, I don't give a fuck. You know, okay, I'll stop that now, and anyway, he spells it with S-E-Z-U-S. You know, if I thought of that, that would have been fucking brilliant, because it looks like Jesus, but with an S and a Z. Oh, I wish I thought of that. But anyway, it's too late, and I can't change the name, so more fool me.
And here's another post by me. Simon Says, God said there will be screams of terror and gnashing of teeth. Simon Says, I won't give the satisfaction by screaming in terror, and I won't be gnashing my teeth. The only thing I will do is say, nice and tasty in hell, but Australia's hotter. Do you want a beer, Ivan Milat and Martin Bryant?
Hey, most people probably wouldn't even know who those two are. Maybe I better explain. Well, Ivan Milat, well, he was a backpacker murderer. He used to get people and get him in his car that was hitchhiking and then take him out to a forest, Bangalow Forest I think it was, and, you know, just did some total horrible shit. And Martin Bryant, well, he was way back in 95 or 96, he shot up Port Arthur, and actually, did you know that his mother got charged and put in jail as well?
No, I didn't know that. Well, what happened?
Well, you know, she told him to shoot uptown and get a loaf of bread. You like that one?
Oh, you're a fucking idiot, mate.
No, I'm not. It's just a fucking good joke. You know, you're just pissed off you didn't think of it. Yeah, he shot up, I think it was like 45 people. No, 35 people. And, that is still the world record of mass killing or something like that. You know, a serial killer or whatever they fucking call them. They're still the same thing, they fucking kill. Yeah, so Australia still holds the record for that one. So any country that's willing to take us on, like America, you need to lift your game. Ben Begley, maybe you might take up on that honours. Nah, just fucking joking. You know, I love to joke around, so, anyway, yeah, he shot up 35 people, and, then 1996 we had to give our guns back. You know, we didn't want to see that shit again, so the government paid for us to hand our guns in, so I think we got about 300. I never owned a gun. I fucking hate guns. I don't believe in guns. You know, I hate when people kill animals for fun with guns. You know, I detest that. But anyway, we don't have guns anymore, so we don't have any mass killing, so hopefully Australia will still hold that record for a very long time to come. And here's another post by Simon Says. Simon Says, when I die and I face the big daddy in the sky, I hope he punishes me good. I hope he flogs me to an inch of my soul and then burn me like a pig on a spit. Simon says, bring it on, motherfucker. Hey, Simon, what about that bloody story about Brett Johnson? Are you going to tell that?
No, I'm going to have to keep that a bit because we are getting a bit I don't know how long this has taken. I don't know how long this is going to go for, but hey, longer the better anyway. No, I'm going to tell that story next week. I've got to try to remember how it went down, but I managed to save a screenshot, which I'm glad I did because one of the comments the other bloke made I was sort of happy with. But, that'll be a next story for next week. But we're coming to an end, so I'm going to read a few good nights that I post every night, and I hope you enjoy these ones. And these are called Lullaby Surprise. Okay, sit down, little girls and boys. I like to call this segment called the Simon Good Nights. Simon says, good night, and may you always check your back, because Simon says,
you will never know who's going to fucking kill you.
And the final Simon says, good night. Good night. And if you wake up in the morning and all you want to do is rape, murder, bash, rob, and get caught by the police and they ask your name, Simon says, just say your name is God and the police will let you go. Why? Because you have no existence.
Now, the final segment I would like to say is our post of the week, and that goes to Rob Branch. And he put a post up saying Christianity and atheists are totally different, something like that. Just jump on the page and find out. But the reason why I chose this post is because of his comment. He puts, Simon says, the mind is like a parachute. It doesn't serve you well unless it is opened. How fucking awesome is that, hey? That's awesome. Did you come up with yourself, Rob? Because if you did, that's a fucking beauty. Maybe you should send that to Gus Comer, and maybe he might open his parachute. So that's the comment of the week, and I look forward to letting you know about the next comment of the week by next week or whenever I fucking do this and Simon does this. But anyway, congratulations to Rob Branch.
So I hope you like our first broadcast.
It's not a bloody broadcast. It's what they call streaming and downloading. Alright, it's not a radio station.
For an old bloke, Baz, you're pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah, well, I like to keep up with all this shit because if you don't, you fall behind like Gus Comer. Sorry, Gus. Just joking, mate. Just joking. And if you can't take a joke, then that's your problem and not mine. Just because God didn't give you a sense of humour doesn't mean you have to hate me for
All right,
it.
Baz, that'll do. Anyway, I hope we have you next week for Simon Says Weekly Review News. A news review. Simon Says Weekly News Review. We'll be back next week, hopefully. No, I'm really going to have to plan for this because it took me a bit. Anyway, I hope to see you next week. If we do one, it could be fortnightly, but no, weekly. Or, as it says, whenever. So yeah, I'll be signing out saying, be good. If you can't be good, then be bloody good at it.
Yeah, and I'm Bazza, and I'm very grateful that I got an opportunity to be on this show. And I like to sign out with saying, if you want to play with your cock, that's fine by me. Play with it as much as you want. That's why God gave it to you.
Well, now that Simon is finished,